His Excellency Mr. Faisal Naseem, Honorable Vice President of the Republic of Maldives, Shri Harshvardhan Shringla, Foreign Secretary, Government of India, Dr. K. Shivaji, Secretary, Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, Pensions and Pensioners Welfare, Secretary, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, Government of India, His Excellency Shri Sunjay Sudhir, High Commissioner of India to Maldives, Mr. Muhammad Nasir, Chairperson, Civil Service Commission of Maldives, Shri Srinivas, Additional Secretary, Department of Administrative Reforms, Public Grievances, Government of India, and also Director General, National Center for Good Governance, and also the person who is responsible for coordinating, conceiving, and organizing this program. Esteemed participants of this two-day India-Maldives workshop on good governance practices, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to express my deep concern for all those people of the Republic of Maldives who have been affected by COVID-19 pandemic. This global pandemic has affected all spheres of life and has brought about a paradigm shift in governance. Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, has reiterated and emphasized deep and abiding commitment of the Government of India to help its neighboring countries with the delivery of vaccines so as to successfully combat this pandemic. India's successful commencement of the COVID-19 vaccination program with two indigenously developed vaccines, namely Covaxin and Covishield, offer a lot of hope of a decisive victory against the pandemic in the months to come. The roadmap ahead for both of our nations in winning the battle against COVID-19 pandemic lies in restarting the economy, strengthening the cooperative federalism, and along with this, the thrust on stronger institutions, stronger e-governance models, digitally empowered citizens, and improved healthcare. As part of the India-Maldives Memorandum of Understanding signed during the visit of Prime Minister to Malé in June 19, India is committed to capacity building of 1,000 Maldivian civil servants at the National Center for Good Governance over a period of 5 years. The NCGG, the High Commission of India to Maldives, and the CSC Maldives jointly operationalized the Memorandum of Understanding in August 2019, and by March 2020, 6 rounds of capacity building program have been successfully conducted by NCGG, for which they deserve to be congratulated, and about 130 Maldivian civil servants have in the process visited India. Ladies and gentlemen, I am glad to be informed that the Vice President of Maldives, His Excellency Mr. Faisal Naseem, took personal interest in ensuring the timely rollout of the capacity building program in August 2019, for which I wish to compliment him and also thank him. I have had the opportunity to interact with several senior Maldivian civil servants, including the permanent secretaries who had visited India in December 2019. And they said they had benefited from the Indian experience that they gained. With the international flight travel being suspended from March 2020 onwards, the focus has shifted to capacity building through virtual programs. And to that extent, I am happy that the NCGT, the High Commission of India to Maldives, and the CSC Maldives have conceptualized and successfully conducted this virtual capacity building workshop today. The India Maldives workshop on capacity building with focus on good governance practices in a pandemic is an effort indeed to showcase and learn from mutual experiences of how our two nations have handled the pandemic successfully. Further, I have noted that the workshop has conducted sessions on leadership and motivation, especially with focus on the difficult working environments of the pandemic, to the health and education in both the nations, which are covered by eminent civil servants. There has also been focus on jobs, skills, tourism, particularly during the pandemic, the interpersonal skills, the communication skills, the digital practices, and the handling of public grievances and problem analysis come decision making. The effort has been to give an overall exposure to the Maldivian civil servants of the Indian experience and to provide Indian institutions at the same time with insights into the challenges faced by the Maldivian civil services so as to enable this mutual experience sharing for an improved public efficiency and public delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, COVID-19 is also accompanied with India's international commitments. In March 2020, Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with the leaders of the SAARC countries to chalk out a common strategy to combat COVID-19 in the entire region. The proactive steps taken by the Indian government include a graded response, screening of those entering the country, public awareness campaigns on television, print and social media, and at the same time special efforts to reach out to the vulnerable groups, ramping up of diagnostic facilities and developing protocols for each stage of managing the pandemic. The Prime Minister, I am glad to share with you, has also offered creation of a COVID-19 emergency fund based on voluntary contributions from all the countries, with India making an initial offer of $10 million for the fund, which can be used by any of the partner countries to meet the cost of immediate action. We are all appreciative and grateful of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's personal intervention and initiation in the matter. And I wish that to go on record. Ladies and gentlemen, India has also offered to assemble rapid response teams of doctors and specialists, along with testing kits and other equipments which could be placed at the disposal of the countries if required. Further, Prime Minister Modi has also offered arranging for online training modules for emergency response teams of the neighboring countries and sharing of software behind India's integrated disease surveillance portals to help trace possible virus carriers and people they contacted. The Modi government and the Government of India headed by Prime Minister Modi have also suggested creation of a common research platform to coordinate research on controlling epidemic diseases within the South Asian countries. Thereafter, India also called upon G20 group of nations to put human beings at the center of the vision for global prosperity and cooperation, freely and openly share the benefits of medical research and development, develop adaptive, responsive and humane healthcare systems, promote new crisis management protocols and procedures for an interconnected global village, strengthen and reform intergovernmental organizations like the WHO, and work together to reduce the economic hardships resulting from COVID 19, particularly for the economically weaker sections. I also wish to share that Prime Minister Narendra Modi called upon the leaders of G20 to help usher in a new globalization for the collective well-being of mankind, and to have multilateral fora focusing on promoting the shared interests of humanity. In his recent address at the UN ECOSOC 75th anniversary session, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi had emphasized the role played by India in achieving Agenda 2030 and the sustained development goals, and that we are supporting other developing countries in meeting these goals as well. As the largest provider of generic drugs globally, India is also drawing on its prominent and growing pharmaceutical industry to provide supplies, including those of the anti-malarial drugs, hydroxychloroquine and paracetamol, to 85 countries, including 20 countries of South Africa. As far as India's domestic response is concerned, you will be happy to learn that the response ranges from development of indigenous vaccines to novel point-of-care diagnostics. India has initiated and successfully integrated the response to overcome the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic. The theme now is getting growth back. And I repeat, getting growth back. India has taken several right steps at the right time and benefited from adopting one of the most stringent lockdowns in the world with the personal intervention of Prime Minister Modi. India's physical resources to fight against coronavirus are fully prepared, and we have saved precious human lives through this. To restore growth, India has launched Prime Minister Modi's Atma Nirbhar campaign for self-reliance, which is aimed at making India self-reliant and resilient to withstand any such future shocks that may happen. The Government of India under Prime Minister Modi has taken the path of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, which is in fact an inclusive model of development carrying along everybody with us. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has highlighted the need to build a self-reliant India and bring India back on the path of rapid development. Ladies and gentlemen, intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovation. Systematically planned, integrated, interconnected, and futuristic reforms have been undertaken under the Atma Nirbhar Bharat campaign. The Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, launched by Prime Minister Modi, has helped provide immense benefits to the poor. Rations have been delivered to as many as 740 million beneficiaries under this scheme, and the free rations were provided to migrant workers. Poor families were given financial assistance, and millions of women, differently abled persons, elderly or laborers, everyone and each one has benefited from it. The Government of India also delivered as many as 80 million gas cylinders to the poor free of cost. Further, the Government of India made 24% employees provident fund contribution into the account of 5 million employees of the private sector. In addition, several steps for liberalization have been taken, which include commercial mining in the coal sector, investment in the space sector, and redefining of the MSMEs. In many ways, I can say with a certain degree of confidence, the Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign represents a significant step towards getting growth back and achieving that mantra. A paradigm shift in government has happened. As I have said, teamwork, compassion, and statesmanship have defined India's governance in response to COVID-19 pandemic. The road ahead focuses on what Prime Minister befittingly called Do Gaz Ki Duri, which in other words refers to social distancing or physical distancing. India has successfully popularized the Arogya Setu app, which is currently being used by more than 120 million Indians. Getting to life with the coronavirus has meant less contact governance, officials having to work in masks and gloves, and also to work from home. Virtual offices, web room meetings, virtual private networks were adopted during this period as India's central secretariat became a digitally run central secretariat. 75 ministries have already adopted e-office. Functional web rooms have been created by the NIC, and India's digital infrastructure initiatives have begun to bear fruit. The impact of integrated portals has also been seen. India's efforts for digital empowerment of citizens have been successful during this period of pandemic. The unique digital identity of Aadhaar enabled availability of services on real-time basis with e-classes, e-hospitals, e-Naam, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, and Bharat Interface for Money, all of which were seeded on Aadhaar identification. I would particularly like to congratulate the Ministry of External Affairs, the High Commission of India to Maldives, the Department of Administrative Reforms, Pensions and Grievances, the National Center of Good Governance, the Civil Services Commission of Maldives for successful conduct of this 2-day capacity building program. And I am sure, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this, you will go back contented with a sumptuous feast of academics and mutual learning. Thank you very much.